Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News Today starts now.
The leadership of the Michigan legislature meets with President Trump, and those lawmakers are going on the record about what was discussed. Those details are next.
Dangerous spike. The U.S. breaks its highest one-day total with more than 193,000 new COVID-19 cases.
We are entering and are in now, not even entering, in the worst phase of the pandemic.
Michigan also seeing another record-breaking day in the struggle against COVID-19. What you need to know to stay safe, as well as a look at a major development on the vaccine front.
Plus, tracking changes. On Friday, we saw temps in the 60s, but that's not what we're going to have this weekend.
Andrew is tracking snow and rain this weekend.
Of course, because why not?
Yeah, we'll just take both at the same time.
A 1-2 punch.
Yeah, exactly. It is 7 o'clock, and I'm Grant Herm.
And I'm Priya Mann. Thanks for joining us for Local 4 News today. Grant, it certainly is good to have you back. 2 weeks was too long.
2 weeks is way too long. It's very good to be back. Yeah.
And the one thing that you brought with you was a little bit of some colder temperature and potentially some snow, Grant?
Yeah, I'll take the rap on this one. You're right. This is my fault.
Andrew, you heard it there.
Yeah, right. We've got it on tape, everybody. It's recorded, so make sure we keep that, right? If you need it, I'll certainly take the burden on this one because we do have some snow in the forecast before the weekend is over, but not for today. In today's forecast, it remains dry. Partly to mostly sunny, so we'll see a bit of sunshine out of the deal before the day is done. 42 degrees, though, at noontime, and much chillier than yesterday. Instead of middle 60s, more like middle 40s for today. So go back in the closet, grab that jacket, grab your knit hat and gloves. You'll need it throughout much of today with those chillier conditions. Sunrise just about a half hour away at 7:32. Right now we're looking at 38 degrees, down 1 degree over at Metro Airport, but temperature and wind chill 1 in the same. All precipitation right now is to our south. That rain that you see, it's going to move slowly to the north as we go into tonight and tomorrow when temperatures drop. So we'll see some light snow arrive, but not until after midnight. And by this time tomorrow, some of that light snow converts over to light rain. So tomorrow it's a chilly rain that we'll have, and we'll have that rain turn back over to snow, but amounts are going to be on the light side, and much of it melting when it hits the ground. More on that part of your forecast, more on your 7-day forecast in minutes.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Time now is 7:02, and another record-breaking day in Michigan's struggle against COVID-19. Friday's daily count of new cases, 9,779, the highest since the pandemic began. Now, that comes tragically with another 53 deaths of Michiganders.
We've also learned that a federal judge has denied a restaurant industry group's request to put a stop to the state's 3-week ban on indoor dining, which went into effect on Wednesday. The Michigan Restaurant and Lodging Association filed the suit in the Western Court of Michigan. The judge refused the temporary restraining order, but granted a hearing on November 30th. We'll let you know what happens.
Meantime, Wayne County is urging all school districts to switch to remote learning until at least January 15th.
We spoke with Wayne County Executive Warren Evans, who is concerned about the new number of Detroit cases and the rest of the county.
I'm not talking about a long-term fix. I'm talking about a county where the positivity rate doubled in one day, and we have over, Detroit and Wayne County, over 1,400 new cases of COVID today. And that doubled in one day from 600. And so if this trend continues, I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure out that we need to have some significant remedies to fix it.
And also making headlines, we did have a major development on the vaccine front as Pfizer and BioNTech submitted their vaccine to the FDA for emergency use authorization. This is the first coronavirus vaccine to seek regulatory clearance in the U.S.
The FDA has scheduled a meeting December 10th to consider whether to approve the vaccine for that emergency use.
And right now there are more than 11,915,000 confirmed cases in the U.S. In total, more than 254,000 Americans have died from the illness. That's according to a Johns Hopkins University database.
And if you're thinking of traveling to a Thanksgiving gathering, the CDC has some advice. Don't. The agency says the holiday poses too much of a risk for COVID-19 spread.
Pfizer and BioNTech have submitted their COVID-19 vaccines to the FDA for emergency use authorization. This means there could be shots in some arms before the new year.
This pandemic will start getting better once we get into February, March. And by April, May, things will be dramatically better.
But what about right now? Thursday, a record number of new cases, more than 187,000. A record number of people in the hospital, more than 80,000. And for the first time since early May, more than 2,000 lives reported lost to COVID-19 in a single day.
We are entering and are in now, not even entering, in the worst phase of the pandemic.
College football officials have now called off 16 games this weekend. Friday in Illinois, movie theaters, museums, indoor bars all closed again. Tonight at 10 p.m., an overnight curfew kicks in across much of California.
We too are seeing this surge growing faster and faster, and we must address it immediately.
And in New York, schools just closed after the city's positivity rate crept to 3%, and tempers are high.
Why can a child go to a restaurant? Why can a child go everywhere else but school? There is no excuse.
Now we hear that New York City restaurants might close after Thanksgiving, and the schools might actually reopen.
The plan right now is to work on a plan so that after the Thanksgiving break, we can bring everybody back into the schools, and we're going to adjust and adapt our protocols so that we can continue to do in-person learning.
The latest science suggesting schools are not super spreaders.
My feeling is the default position, keep the schools open if you possibly can.
The CDC in some states advising not to travel over Thanksgiving. Utah is saying just one household for dinner, but
we're taking that out of the order. What you do in the confines of your own home is going to be up to you. But we also are given strong recommendations of how you can conduct that in a safe environment.
Today, 10 months since the first confirmed case in this country, we're still unsure. Close schools, keep restaurants open, or vice versa. Are strict rules best or just recommendations? Is personal freedom the priority or the health of others?
And if your answers to those questions includes a Thanksgiving gathering, the CDC says wear a mask, maintain your distance, and wash your hands.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump Jr., President Trump's oldest son, tests positive for the coronavirus. A spokesperson for Trump says he's asymptomatic and is following all medically recommended COVID-19 guidelines. We're also learning more about a member of President Trump's cabinet's fights with COVID-19. Detroit native, retired physician, and Secretary of Housing and Urban Development Ben Carson says he became, quote, desperately ill from COVID-19, but is now on the road to recovery. On his Facebook page Friday, Dr. Carson said he had several risk factors which made his bout with coronavirus very serious. However, the former neurosurgeon says he showed dramatic improvement after taking an antibody treatment. He has not confirmed Dr. Carson's treatment regimen.
The other big story this morning, Michigan lawmakers leave the White House after a meeting with President Trump. This is video of them departing. The leadership of the Michigan legislature met with President Trump late Friday afternoon. And as Mara McDonald reports, those lawmakers are going on record about what was discussed.
The leaders of Michigan's House and Senate met with the president, and in a joint statement, both Senate Majority Leader Shirkey and House Speaker Chatfield say, quote, "We used our time in the White House to deliver a letter to President Trump, making clear our support for additional federal funds to help Michigan in the fight against COVID-19. We have since sent the same correspondence to congressional leaders." Now, they then say they made the ask for further federal dollars to deal with the impact of COVID. Currently, it's hundreds of millions of dollars in federal money that is backfilling the state budget. Democratic activists are projecting their pictures on the front of the Trump Hotel where they are presumed to be staying. Both leaders did address the vote certification process. Quote, "We have not yet been made aware of any information that would change the outcome of the election in Michigan, and as legislative leaders, we will follow the law and follow the normal process regarding Michigan's electors, just as we have said throughout this election."
I know both the Speaker and the Senate Majority Leader well. They're folks who do respect the law. They're folks who do follow the rule of law. And so again, you know, I'll take their public statements are what they are, which is that they've said they stand with the will of the voters, which again, in our case, has been very clear.
I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
All right, thanks, Mara. The State Board of Canvassers is set to meet on Monday to take up certifying Michigan's election results. One of the Republicans on that board has already signaled they're leaning toward not certifying before an audit is done. Meanwhile, President-elect Joe Biden remains focused on transition with the inauguration just 2 months away.
On Friday, he met with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer to discuss a COVID relief bill.
They're in lockstep agreement that there needs to be emergency assistance and aid during the lame duck session to help families, to help small businesses.
Biden also discussed his agenda for the first 100 days of his presidency, including his plans to contain the coronavirus and restore the economy. Also of significance, on Friday, the governor of Georgia certified 16 presidential electors for Biden after his office accepted the certification of the results, showing that the former vice president won the state by more than 12,000 votes. All right, well, we are talking about some very fall-like weather, possibly even snow on the way, Grant?
Yeah, that's what Andrew has been saying all morning long here.
I think the good news is, though, it's going to be very light.
Exactly right. We've got some rain down to our south for now, but it creeps in to the area slowly just as it gets colder, giving us a chance of those snowflakes. But will it be heavy or light? More on that part of your forecast coming up.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Plus, orange barrel alert.
We'll take a look at construction projects around town that may impact your weekend plans. That's after the break.